By the end of this decade, you probably won't apply for most jobs. An AI agent will do it for you, scanning listings, customizing your resume, writing cover letters, scheduling interviews, and maybe even negotiating your salary. That sounds like science fiction, but here's the thing. Every single piece of that pipeline already exists today. They just haven't been stitched together yet. And that gap between what's technically possible and what's actually deployed is where some genuinely interesting opportunities are hiding right now. If you're curious about realistic no-hype tech analysis, you might want to stick around and subscribe. So let's talk about AI agents, not the flashy demos you see on Twitter where someone asks an AI to build me a startup and it spits out a logo and a business plan. Those are impressive party tricks, but they're not what's actually changing things. The real shift is happening much more quietly, in much more boring ways, and honestly, that's exactly why most people are missing it. An AI agent at its core is just software that can take actions on your behalf. It's not just answering questions, it's clicking buttons, filling forms, sending emails, making decisions. The difference between a chatbot and an agent is the difference between someone who gives you directions and someone who actually drives you there. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For years we had AI that could understand language pretty well, but it couldn't really do anything. It was like having a brilliant advisor locked in a glass box, great at thinking, useless at acting. What's changed in the past 18 months is that the glass box is cracking. AI systems can now browse the web, write and run code, manage files, interact with APIs, and chain together multiple steps without human intervention. The catch? They're still not great at it. They make mistakes, they get confused, they sometimes do exactly what you asked for in a way that completely misses the point. Anyone who's actually tried to use these tools for real work knows they require babysitting. But here's the thing most people miss, that babysitting requirement is shrinking fast. Every few months the failure rate drops, the tasks they can handle reliably get more complex, and the people who are learning to work with these imperfect agents right now are building skills that will be extremely valuable as the technology matures. Let me give you a concrete example. There are people right now using AI agents to monitor competitor pricing across hundreds of websites, automatically adjusting their own prices in response. A year ago, this required either expensive enterprise software or a dedicated employee. Now, someone with moderate technical skills can set it up in an afternoon using tools that cost less than a streaming subscription. The agent isn't perfect. Sometimes it misreads a price. Occasionally it gets blocked by a website, but it's good enough that a human checking its work once a day catches the errors before they matter. This pattern is repeating across dozens of fields. AI agents handling customer support tickets, routing the easy ones automatically and flagging the complex ones for humans. Agents scanning legal documents for specific clauses and summarizing findings. Agents monitoring social media mentions and drafting response suggestions. None of these are fully autonomous. All of them require human oversight, but they're taking tasks that used to consume hours and compressing them into minutes. Now here's the part that genuinely surprises me. Most of the value isn't coming from the AI doing things humans can't do. It's coming from the AI doing things humans find tedious, the boring, repetitive, soul-crushing parts of knowledge work that nobody actually enjoys. And when you remove those, something interesting happens to the humans involved. They often get better at the creative, strategic, interpersonal parts of their job. The stuff that actually matters. But there's a catch, and I want to be honest about it. This transition isn't going to be smooth or fair. Some jobs will genuinely disappear. Some skills that took years to develop will become less valuable, and the benefits aren't going to be distributed evenly. At least, not at first. The people who figure out how to work alongside these tools effectively will pull ahead. The people who ignore them or resist them will find themselves increasingly outcompeted. That's not hype. It's just the pattern we've seen with every major productivity technology. So what does this actually mean for you? Well, here's where most YouTube videos would tell you to learn prompt engineering or start an AI automation agency. And look, those aren't terrible ideas, but they're also becoming crowded fast. The more interesting opportunities I think are in the gaps. See, AI agents are general-purpose tools, but they work best when they're customized for specific workflows in specific industries. A real estate agent's needs are different from a podcaster's needs, are different from a small manufacturer's needs. The people who deeply understand a particular domain and can translate that understanding into effective AI agent configurations, those people are becoming incredibly valuable. Not because they're AI experts, but because they're domain experts who happen to understand how to leverage AI. This is something that most people miss when they think about AI careers. They assume you need to be a machine learning researcher or a software engineer, but a lot of the actual value creation is happening at the edges, in implementation, customization, and integration. It's less about building the AI and more about figuring out where it fits, what it should do, and how to handle its inevitable failures gracefully. Let me share a quick scenario that I think illustrates where this is heading. Right now, if you want to plan a complex international trip, you might spend hours across multiple websites comparing flights, checking visa requirements, reading hotel reviews, finding local experiences. It's tedious, but doable. Within the next 2 to 3 years, and this is based on current trajectories, not wishful thinking, you'll likely be able to describe your trip to an AI agent, answer a few clarifying questions, and receive a fully planned itinerary, with bookings ready to confirm. The agent will have checked your calendar, considered your past travel preferences, compared prices across platforms, and verified visa requirements for your specific passport. Will it be perfect? No. Will you want to review it before confirming anything? Absolutely. But the 20 hours of research gets compressed into 20 minutes of review. That's the pattern. Not full automation, but radical compression. Now, there are real limits here, and I don't want to oversell this. AI agents today still struggle with truly novel situations. They have trouble when the task requires understanding context that wasn't in their training data. They can be confidently wrong in ways that are hard to detect. And they're surprisingly bad at knowing when they're in over their heads. They'll often attempt tasks they shouldn't instead of asking for clarification. These are solvable problems, but they're not solved yet. Anyone telling you that current AI agents can fully replace human judgment is either trying to sell you something or hasn't actually used these tools in high-stakes situations. So, where does this leave us? I think we're in a genuinely unusual moment. The technology is good enough to be useful but not good enough to be invisible. The people who engage with it now, who learn its quirks, understand its failure modes, and develop intuition for where it works and where it doesn't, are building a kind of tacit knowledge that will be valuable for years. This isn't about becoming an AI expert overnight. It's about deliberately practicing collaboration with AI agents on tasks that matter to you. Start small. Pick something tedious in your work or life and try to partially automate it. Expect failure. Learn from what goes wrong. Gradually expand. The honest truth is that we don't know exactly how this plays out. The optimistic scenario is that AI agents free us from drudgery and let us focus on what we're best at. The pessimistic scenario is that they concentrate power among those who control them and leave everyone else behind. The realistic scenario is probably some messy combination of both, varying by industry, geography, and luck. What I do know is that ignoring this shift isn't a viable strategy. Not because AI will take your job tomorrow, but because the people around you are already experimenting, already learning, already finding small advantages that compound over time. If this kind of grounded, realistic analysis of where technology is actually heading is useful to you, consider subscribing. I try to cut through the hype and focus on what's actually happening and what it actually means. And here's a question I'm genuinely curious about. What's one task in your life that you trust an AI agent to handle unsupervised? Not something trivial, but something that actually matters. Drop it in the comments. I'm curious where people's trust thresholds are right now because I think that boundary is going to shift dramatically over the next few years. The age of AI agents isn't coming. It's here, in imperfect, incomplete, sometimes frustrating form. But the gap between here and transformative is smaller than most people realize. The question isn't whether to pay attention, it's what to do with that attention while it still matters.